SportsBeat.
Begin with the Utah Jazz, who were suddenly hot this week. Winners of 5 of their last 7 games. One of those wins was a 34-point blowout of the San Antonio Spurs. Same 2 teams again on Sunday, this time in San Antonio. Rudy Gobert dunks in 2 to give the Jazz a 9-4 lead. The lead didn't last. Rudy gave Powers his way to the rim for a dunk. Jazz trailed 23-18 after 1. Then the Spurs outscored the Jazz 31-18 in the second. LaMarcus Aldridge killing it in the mid-range. He had 20 on 10 of 15 shooting. The Jazz defense in the second quarter too soft. Derek White getting to the rim with ease, 44-36. DeMar DeRozan had 26, including a scoop to beat the halftime horn. Jazz were down 18 at the break. After going scoreless in the first half, Donovan Mitchell comes alive in the second. And 1, Jazz still down 21, but they keep chopping wood. Mitchell had 14 points in the third. The lead is down to 12, but the Jazz had no answer for Rudy Gay, muscling his way in. Turn back the clock tonight, 23 points, 15 rebounds. Ricky Rubio had a great night and kept the Jazz in it, and 1 to cut the lead to 13. And he's going to keep gnashing until he gets the hoop. Rubio had 26, Jazz down 10 after 3. They get even closer in the fourth. Rudy dunks in 2. The Jazz are within 6. Another Donovan 3 has the Jazz within 5. He led the Jazz with 27, all of them coming in the second half. It was 86-81 Spurs, but the Spurs answer later on. Jakob Poeltl with the rebound. Gay again slams the door on the Jazz rally. Jazz have to put this one behind them quickly. They face the Thunder in OKC Monday night.
They were just a lot better, and we weren't as good as we needed to be.
They were being physical. No matter what, we should be able to play through that. You know, keep moving the ball, keep trusting each other, and keep attacking the paint.
When you can get a bucket, it's harder to get stops, and vice versa.
We got stagnant. We started the game pretty well defensively, and then went through a period where we didn't score for a long time. And you know, when that happens, your defense has to hold you in the game, but it can only hold for so long.
That right there is proof that the cupboard is not bare for Utah State's new head coach. Utah State made it official this afternoon. Gary Andersen is the new head football coach at Utah State, replacing Matt Wells, who replaced Andersen 6 years ago. Of course, we know that Andersen isn't new to Logan. He was hired as the Aggies head coach 10 years ago and took over a program with 11 straight losing seasons, turned them into a winner in a short period of time. After 4 years in Logan, he went on to be the head coach at Wisconsin and Oregon State before returning to his alma mater, Utah, to serve as associate head coach this past season. Andersen will be introduced at a press conference on Tuesday morning. We have to take a quick break. Next, Rudy Rage in the latest Jazz Rewind.
Shot. Quick shot. Oh, bang. He's unreal.
Yeah, rough going today in San Antonio for the Jazz, but the week was kind of them. We'll rewind Kyle Korver's return home when we come back.
Drives to the rim.
Oh, man alive! Man alive is right. The play that BYU Hoop fans will remember forever. Could be the turning point for the Cougars. We'll hear from Yoeli Childs next.
You're watching SportsBeat.
Things didn't go well for the Jazz on Sunday, but that doesn't mean the week has been all bad. In fact, it was pretty darn good. A historic shooting night in Kyle Korver's return to Salt Lake City and an ejection of Rudy Gobert less than 3 minutes into a game that the Jazz ended up winning. Let's rewind.
Catch and shoot. Ingles up. Bang. Crowder takes a straightaway 3. Banks it home. Dare him to shoot it. And bang. Korver, another shooter. Up and good. O'Neal line drives it home for 3. 20 threes knocked down by Utah. Oh, behind the back. The two-hander. Gobert. Inside. Ricky put it right on the hands of Favors. Popovich off the bench and a timeout. O'Neal takes it away. It's a clear path into the bucket and hammers home 2. Hit on the shot. Quick shot. Oh, bang.
He's unreal. Rubio, look at the scoop layup. He's gotten so much better at that shot.
O'Neal again. Having his way. 7.
Look at the oop here. Nice pass, off balance.
And Gobert up high with a two-hander. The Jazz get a much-needed win at home.
A rematch of last season's second-round playoff series. It's the Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz.
I don't think I've ever seen it. Did they call it
right off the bat? 1 second gone. There's a player down, and that's 2 on Gobert down.
Oh, he's going to be thrown out.
I'm saying it more in that here's one of the premier players in the league, and now he's gone in less than 3 minutes of an important conference game. And Rudy Gobert, the reigning defensive player of the year, and Rubio, angles for 3. Oh, what a walk away by Cephalosha. Hits him with flush. He's one of the all-time great three-point shooters in history of this franchise. It's a 3 right there. Ingles up high for 14 now. Corey J. Crowder. Final score, Utah 118, Rockets 91. So one from Salt Lake City.
All right, that was fun. It was also a fun week of local college hoops this weekend. BYU seems to have righted the ship after crushing a good Utah State team Wednesday. The Cougars beat the Utes by 15 in the latest chapter of the rivalry. And the driving force this week has been Yoeli Childs. The junior forward scored 31 points in 3 straight games, the last BYU player to do that. Someone named Jimmer Fredette. Does that ring a bell? So what does Yoeli think of being mentioned in the same sentence as a legend like Jimmer?
It's awesome to be in the same sentence as Jimmer. He's a stud. He comes back and he's so good to us and he teaches us so many things. But I've said before, 30 points is a lot of shots. So it's your teammates. Your teammates get you the ball. You can't have 30 without shooting a lot. So shout out to my teammates for getting me the ball.
Goes to Childs, who takes that 3 and makes it. Wow, Yoeli Childs puts BYU up a dozen.
I used to kind of want to prove people wrong. You know, I wanted to prove the haters wrong or whatever, prove the people that didn't think I was a good player wrong, but I've kind of switched my mindset in the last couple of years to prove the people that believe in me right. You know, I'm more about proving Coach Rose right for recruiting me so hard, proving my family right for believing in me, and proving my teammates right for putting trust in me.
It's a great attitude. All right, a week ago, things weren't looking great for the Cougs. 3 straight losses, capped off by a loss at Weber State. But since then, the Cougars have looked sharp, beating both Utah and Utah State by double digits, as I mentioned earlier. So what's been the key to this turnaround?
We had a great week this week. I'm really proud of our guys. You know, last Saturday, we had a sour taste in our mouth, had a rough loss, and you know, we had to make a decision on who we were going to be every day in practice and our games. And you know, Monday I thought we bounced back in practice and we set a tone for the week. And you know, I thought we had 2 great games during the week, and I think we're in a good spot right now.
Bankston misses at the rim. A strip, and the Cougars get it back. Celius for the dunk.
We came in, we really took a good look at ourselves, and we said, are we really playing hard? Are we really doing everything we can on the defensive end of the floor? And the answer was no. So we came in, and every practice this week, we've worked our butts off. We played so hard, and I think that showed the last 2 games, and that's the team you'll continue to see.
All right, now back to the NBA with LeBron leaving the Cavaliers for the West Coast. The Eastern Conference is wide open. 2 teams have been at the top so far, the Bucks and the Raptors, and they met today in Toronto. Let's start in the second quarter. Giannis doing Giannis things. There's a lot of space quickly. Throws it down. He had 19 points, 19 rebounds, and 6 assists. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Just over 2 minutes left. Kawhi. The 3 from the corner. Raptors take a 3-point lead. Now on the other end, Malcolm Brogdon. From the top of the key, ties it at 97 with just over a minute left. Next possession, it's Brogdon again. Another 3. He had 18 for the Bucks. And how about this? Milwaukee, I should say, goes in and wins in Toronto, 104-99. Hockey. NHL, the Las Vegas Knights coming off a loss last night against Trevor Lewis and the Kings at home with the Dallas Stars, tied at 1 in the second. Power play for Vegas. William Karlsson finds the back of the net to give the Knights a 2-1 lead. A few minutes later, off the rebound, Alex Tuch can make it 3-1. The Stars would add 1 in the third, but the Knights hold off the Stars for the 4-2 win. All right, when we come back, some college football honors. And I sit down with the 2 newest members of the Salt Lake Stallions. And in honor of Yoeli Childs' throwdown against Utah Saturday, we take a look at some of the best dunks in the BYU-Utah rivalry.
TJ will penetrate the baseline. Give to Yo. Yo drives to the rim. Oh, man alive!
Yeah, Yoeli Childs may want to lay low for a while because I'm pretty sure he just killed a guy. Put a couple Utes on a poster in the Cougars' 15-point win on Saturday. It's a dunk that BYU fans will be talking about for years to come. So in this week's archive, one of those rivalry moments you never forget was that, and so that got us thinking, what are the best dunks in the history of the Utah-BYU rivalry? Well, here's a few nominees we thought of for the archive.
Josh goes right to the hoop.
Yeah, we begin back in 1991 when Utah's Josh Grant dunked on BYU's Sean Bradley not once that season, but twice in 2 different games, once in Salt Lake City and once in Provo. The Utes swept the Cougars that season and went on to the Sweet 16. BYU would reach the round of 32.
A steal by Wright. Goes behind the back.
DeLon Wright, don't do him like that.
Yeah, 2014, DeLon Wright goes behind the back before throwing down on the Cougars in Provo. Utes won the game and went on to the Sweet 16 that season.
Here comes Collinsworth. He slams another one.
Game, this was Kyle Collinsworth, not too shabby, huh? Climbs the ladder in that game. We all know Kyle.
In basketball, you can be selfish.
Right hands, too. Wow.
Yeah, 2005, the player of the year in college basketball, #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. Andrew Bogut throws one down and then gets kicked by Chris Miles in frustration. We all remember that. The Utes won that game and would go on to the Sweet 16 that season.
Andersen off to the right. Travis Hansen.
Ooh, you knew Travis Hansen could fly. Did that a lot at BYU back in 2002. He hammers one home on a putback. The Cougars came up short this day at the Huntsman Center, but you'll never forget that one. All right, and Keith Van Horn had several dunks against BYU. This is one of them we found. Hey, if we missed a dunk you remember in the rivalry, let me know on Twitter at JJ SportsBeat. We'll go find the one you want to see, and we'll share it on social media. All right, it's award time in college football. The Heisman awarded to Kyler Murray last night of Oklahoma. The Walter Camp All-American team was announced on Thursday, and we have a couple of players from the state that made the team. Mitch Wisnowski didn't win the Ray Guy Award, came in second, but he becomes the first 3-time All-American in Utah football history after being named second-team Walter Camp All-American. He's one of just 6 Utes to earn that honor. He is the first 3-time finalist for the Ray Guy Award. What a career he has had. He's got one more game left. The Aggies, Savon Scarver is also a Walter Camp first-team All-American. Scarver, only a sophomore, leads the nation in kickoff returns with a 34-yard average. Teams, for some reason, are still kicking to him. Tied for second with 2 kickoff returns for touchdown this year. Scarver's just the 3rd Aggie to earn a Walter Camp first-team All-American honor. The other 2, Jalen Davis last year and then Phil Olson back in 1969. 4 Utes were named to the Pac-12 defensive first team, led by Chase Hansen, Bradley and I, Jalen Johnson, and Lecky Fotu. Marquise Blair, Julian Blackman, and John Pennicini placed on the Pac-12 defensive second team. First team honors on offense, lineman Jackson Barton and Jordan Agasiva. Zach Moss was named second team. Lineman Lo Falamaka was honorable mention. Britton Covey was named to the Pac-12 first team on special teams as a return man. Kicker Matt Gay and punter Mitch Wisnowski also on the special teams first team. Add it all up, and the Utes had a record 9 players named first team all-conference, 3 more than any other team, including Washington. 17 in all were honored, and 10 of 11 defensive starters received honors. That is very impressive. All right, just over 3 weeks away from Utah and Northwestern in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. The Utes' first trip to the Holiday in school history. New Year's Eve in San Diego. We know that Britton Covey won't be playing after injuring his knee in the Pac-12 championship game, but what about quarterback Tyler Huntley? Remember, he suffered a broken collarbone in the Utes' loss against Arizona State. It was thought Huntley would miss the rest of the season, but look who was at practice on Friday. Yeah, Huntley looking pretty good. He participated, and with the bowl game a little over 3 weeks away, what are the chances Huntley could return and play?
Working my way back into individual reps and just working my way back in it.
Do you expect to start in the bowl game?
We'll see. I'm still not clear for contact yet, so
okay.
we just working our way through it.
I always prepare to start, so I'm expecting to start. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm just gonna keep my mindset ready.
We'll just work him in and see how much he can progress. There's no decision right now on whether he'll be able to play or not. He's out there, and that's a good thing to have him out there.
Good to have him back. They're gonna battle it out, and we'll see what happens.
I'm not getting my hopes too high, but just still working through rehab, and rehab been going good, so been healing good, and so we're working from there.
Cal, if he's cleared to play, is he the starter?
To be determined. Yeah, both of those, if he's cleared and if he's the starter.
I don't know if it works. Hey, the Aggies are just 1 week away from a battle with North Texas in the New Mexico Bowl in Albuquerque. Of course, we told you earlier in the show they named Gary Andersen their head coach today, but defensive coordinator Frank Maile will lead the Aggies on Saturday.
First and foremost, it's a pleasure, and I feel so privileged to have been asked to be able to take this role on. And at the end of the day, it ain't about me. It's about the players.
Going to the Mexico Bowl is going to be, one great opportunity for this team. We're excited about it. We're fired up.
The leadership from our seniors has been awesome and has made the transition pretty easy. And so I have their full support and loyalty, and we're not going to skip a beat.
BYU back on the practice field after getting ready for the famous, while they get ready for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl against Western Michigan. After missing out on a bowl game last season, the Cougars are anxious to get going, even if it means going back to Boise to play on that blue turf. And it's also a place they've never won. They'd like to change that.
I wanted somewhere like warm, but Idaho will do. Like it's a bowl game, so I'm just happy to be on the bowl game. So
after not being in a bowl game last year, we're really excited about this one, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun going to Boise. I'm trying to find a way to get a win on that blue turf.
I don't like that turf, but we got to win on it. That's one thing. We got to finish and win on it. And don't matter who's playing over there. They're Broncos too, so I'm going to think about. We got to beat the Broncos.
I mean, that field honestly is crappy, but the turf is so bad. The turf is terrible. I left with so many cuts all over my body. It's like I had road burn or whatever it is, but yeah, and it's still bleeding. Yeah, it hasn't gone away still. So
the whole point of this bowl game is to go and win, and we 2016 we won our bowl game, and I look forward to trying to get another win this year. So that's got to be the #1 goal for us.
The Alliance of American Football begins its inaugural season in February. And yes, Utah, you have a team, the Salt Lake Stallions. We have two quarterbacks from the Stallions joining us, Josh Woodrum and B.J. Daniels. Welcome to town, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
It's awesome to have you. First of all, both of you, your first impressions of Salt Lake City.
Well, the mountains are the first thing that I noticed. I mean, I'm from Virginia, and we have hills. They're not they're not quite that big. So yeah, for sure the mountains.
How about you, B.J.?
It reminds me a lot of Seattle. I spent some time in Seattle, so the smog and the climate, and it's a pretty cool city.
Yeah, trust me, as soon as the inversion blows out here, you're gonna love it. We'll have to deal with that. But what's it like to be a part of this thing that's new? To start from the ground up and be a part of something that could be very big.
It's pretty cool. I think it's going to be a really great experience. Having the opportunity to continue to play football is something that we both want to do, and use our God-given talents and abilities. So, to be part of the first quarterbacks to be amongst the team, and in this inaugural season, I think it's going to be really exciting.
From an NFL standpoint, there don't really seem to be enough spots on a team for quality players all the time. So you really get into a numbers game at some positions, especially at quarterback, whether they only carry 2 or they only carry 3. That means either the third or the fourth guy is out. So you have a lot of really good players that are going to come into this league that being in the right situation with the right team could be on an NFL roster. So I think the talent in this league is just going to be awesome, and I think, like I said, it's going to be a great opportunity for us to continue playing and hopefully get another chance to get back in the NFL.
And both of you have spent time in the NFL. How important do you think it's going to be to have a league that can serve as that developmental league and give guys that chance to keep playing and try to move up?
I think it's huge. Like I said, the sheer number system is tough, because if you don't make a team right away, you're either looking for another job or you go play in the CFL or arena or something like that. So just to have a league that is exactly like the NFL, 11-on-11 American football, I think it's great for the developmental standpoint.
Look good, feel good, play good. So I got to ask you about the uniforms, the look. What do you guys think of it, both of you?
I think for sure we have the best colors and the best uniforms. Most of my wardrobe is gray and blue anyway, so I can't.
Easy transition.
Easy transition.
What do you think of the look?
Yeah, like you said, I think they're the best in the league, to be honest with you. I can't wait to put some swag to it and add my own flavor.
Your first impressions of Coach Erickson, and maybe also, well, I'll start with you. Your impressions of Coach Erickson.
Well, he's a legend. I'm from Florida, born and raised, so, you know, I definitely grew up watching the U in Miami. You know, it was pretty cool to be around him and, you know, just to talk to him and soak up some of the information that he has and his knowledge of the game.
Have you taken a look at the roster and seen the talent? You'll have a chance to meet the guys at minicamp this week.
Yeah, I have. I actually know 2 of the guys already. One of them I played against in high school, and then one of them was with me at Liberty in college. So, but just going back to the Andersen thing, I think it's great that this league is focusing on the coaches. A lot of them have already had a lot of experience and a lot of success.
We're 2 months away from this season getting underway. This is exciting. Thanks, guys, so much for coming in.
Thanks.
It's great to meet you, and I'm sure we'll do this many times here in the future.
A local high school hoop star with a perfect 10 dunk to land a spot in our Great Clips of the Week. Who he is and which college fans in the state should be excited about him. It's coming up next. Hey, finally home from all that traveling this week, Donovan Mitchell was looking for something to do on Friday night. So he tweeted out this: Friday Night High School Hoops, what y'all got for me? You think he got a few responses? How about over 600? Well, the game he chose was Murray at Kearns, and we were there. He was joined by Royce O'Neal and Epe Udoh. They took time to take pictures and meet with the students in the crowd. Can you imagine what that would have been like to be one of those kids? You just go to a high school game one night, it's like, hey, Donovan Mitchell's here. That's crazy. That's pretty cool, though. He took plenty of time. Selfies with everybody. It was pretty awesome. Again, Donovan Mitchell doing awesome things. Hey, there's Royce O'Neal, too, doing selfies. So shout out to Royce as well, and Epe. Epe'd tell you to go read a book.
Great Clips of the Week.
Hey, this is Luke Tueller of Bingham. High school hoops. Drains a 40-footer at the horn. The Miners scored their final 7 points in the last 20 seconds of regulation to force overtime, including his 3. They would go on to beat Davis in overtime. What a way to start the season. All right, this is Mason Falslove of Skyview High School. Whew, he has wings. Just a junior. He's committed to play basketball at the University of Utah, and boy, could they use him. He's also the quarterback on the football team as well. Shocking with that athleticism that he can. This is Austrian snowboarder Anna Gasser. She became the first woman to successfully complete a cab triple 1260. We got multiple angles of this trick. It's not easy. Most of us can't even get down the hill safely on a snowboard, and she's doing this. This is insane. Wow, that's what that trick looks like. All right, earlier we took a look at BYU's win over Utah, the Beehive Classic. In Game 2, Utah State needed to bounce back after a beatdown in Provo Wednesday night, taking on a tough Weber State team who beat BYU. Last weekend, Aggies opened up with a 9-0 lead. Neemias Queta hammers home 2. Queta can also pass well for big man. Sam Merrill finishes. The run continues with Sam Merrill. Woohoo! Look at this. The step back 3. It's 17-5. Cody John getting to the hoop. Played well for the Wildcats. But the Aggies weren't done. They kept coming. They led by 18 in the first half, 34-16. Queta with the hammer, and then more from Merrill with 3. Wildcats trying to keep up. Rikat Chapman. He hits a 3 just before the half. The Aggies had the lead at the half. That lead grows in the second half. More from Queta. He had a big game. And then, woo! How about that layup? The Aggies are fired up. Wildcats made a run. Zach Braxton with the and one. And then Caleb Nero came off the bench and had a big night. Cut the lead to 6. He had 15 points, but Braxton kept the pressure on. Another dunk. Lead back to 6 with under 4 minutes left, but the Wildcats rally runs out of time. Brock Miller, another in-state product with the dagger. Utah State gets the 9-point win to move to 8-2. Wildcats showed some heart, but they fall to 5-4. Also, congratulations to the BYU women's volleyball team. They're on their way to the Final Four. We're going to talk to the BYU women's volleyball team on Monday, and you'll hear from them on the KSL 5 News at 6 and 10. Also, the Jazz and the Thunder Monday. We'll see you then. Good night, everyone.